Welcome to the longest running quiz show in the area. Categories. High school students compete to answer questions on topics from art to science, history to current events. And now, here's your categories host, John Bartell.
Hi, welcome to Categories. Today we're bringing you our first inter-district matchup as we bring you the Blue Valley West Jaguars versus the Shawnee Mission South Raiders. Let's go ahead and meet our competitors first from Blue Valley West.
Hi, I'm Danny, and I'm a senior.
I'm Tyler, and I'm a senior.
I'm Walker, and I'm a junior.
I'm Peter, and I'm a junior.
I'm Whit, and I'm a junior.
And our competitors from Shawnee Mission South.
I am Paul, and I'm a senior.
I'm Nikki, and I am also a senior.
I'm Josh, and I'm a junior.
I'm Justin, and I'm a senior.
And I'm the other Josh, and I'm a sophomore.
Fantastic. As we start our first round here in Categories, we do give one team a question. If the team answers correctly, they get a point. If they answer incorrectly, the other team does to get a chance to steal. We did a coin toss before we started taping, and it was won by Blue Valley West. So Jaguars, here is the first question, and the category is science, specifically animals. A polecat is another name for two animals. The skunk is one of them. What is the other? Walker? The opossum? That is incorrect. Raiders, chance to steal the science animals question. A polecat is another name for two animals. The skunk is one. What is the other? Nikki?
I think it's the weasel.
It is not the weasel. Close. It's a ferret. A ferret. Raiders, you do get the next category, and it is U.S. history. What was the general name given to the women of the late 1800s and early 1900s who campaigned for the right? Nikki?
Suffragettes.
Suffragettes is correct. West, you have the next category, which is famous places. At the Chinese city of Xi'an, the mausoleum of the first emperor Qin Shi Huang is guarded by what unusual group? Peter?
Terracotta soldiers.
Terracotta soldiers is correct. South, the next category is general knowledge, printing. Give the name of the printing process, meaning writing with stone, that is based on the, Nikki?
Lithography.
Lithography is correct. West, the next category for you is world history. The largest earthquake ever recorded, measuring 8.9 on the Richter scale, shook what country in 1933? Whit?
China.
China is incorrect. South, chance to steal this world history category. The largest earthquake ever recorded, measuring 8.9 on the Richter scale, shook what country in 1933? Josh P.
Chile?
That is incorrect. It is Japan. Japan. South, you get the next category, which is science, chemistry. If you want more solute and dissolve, if you want more solute to dissolve in a solution, what needs to happen to the temperature of the solvent? Nikki?
It needs to increase.
Needs to increase is correct. West, you have the next category, and it is current events. Several businesses are considered recession-proof. As home budgets tighten, there is a 20% growth in this industry caused by people wanting to cut grocery expenses. What is the industry? Raiders, chance to steal this current event category. Several businesses are considered recession-proof. As home budgets tighten, there is a 20% growth in this industry caused by people wanting to cut grocery expenses. What is this industry? Josh W.?
Gardening.
I cannot accept gardening. I'm sorry. We're looking specifically for seed companies. Seed companies. Raiders, you do get the next category, however, and it is literature. Merlin the magician cast a spell, putting this title character to sleep for 1,300 years. Identify this book. Nikki?
King Arthur?
Cannot accept King Arthur. West, Your chance to steal this literature category. Merlin the magician cast a spell, putting this title character to sleep for 1,300 years. Identify the book. Walker?
A kinetic Yankee in King Arthur's court.
That is exactly right. You do get the next category also, Blue Valley West, and it is sports. Quotes, actually. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man.
Lou Gehrig.
It is Lou Gehrig. That is correct. I was going to do the echoes in there, but I decided not to for you. Shawnee Mission South, you get the next category, economics, specifically taxes. Name the tax imposed on the property of a deceased person passed on to the heirs. Paul?
Inheritance tax.
Inheritance tax is acceptable. We would also accept estate or death tax. Blue Valley West, the next category for you is world geography. When its coffee crop was destroyed in 1870, Ceylon switched to growing what other crop? Tyler?
Cocoa.
Cannot accept that. Raiders, your chance to steal this world geography category. Nikki?
Tea.
It is tea. Raiders, you get the next category. Science, again, compounds specifically. Do isomorphic compounds have the same valence, crystalline form, molecular weight, spectra, or magnetic properties? Paul?
Crystalline form.
Crystalline form is correct. Jaguars, next question for you is U.S. geography, specifically state symbols. Identify the following state flower from the clue. You need an elephant to remember Alaska's state flower. Peter?
Forget-me-not.
Forget-me-not is correct. Shawnee Mission South, next category for you is U.S. government. Government-provided support for those unable to support themselves is called what? Nikki?
Welfare.
Welfare is correct. Blue Valley West, next category for you is military history, specifically World War II. About 50% of all American and Filipino POWs were too sick to continue, and another 25% died in prison camp. I am referring to what death march?
The Bataan Death March.
That is correct. Raiders, next category for you is science astronomy. Identify the planet from the following length of year measured in Earth days. The year would be 4,333 days. Paul?
Saturn.
Saturn is incorrect. Blue Valley West, chance to steal this astronomy category. Identify the planet from the following length of year measured in Earth days. 4,333 days. Tyler?
Uranus.
That is incorrect. Jupiter. That was a tough question, I agree. Vocabulary for you, Blue Valley West. Sharon bought a new lot for her house. The deed said a 10-foot wide area extending the length of its northern border could not be built upon, but was reserved for utility lines. This part of her property is called what? Danny?
Easement.
Sorry.
Easement.
Easement is correct. Shawnee Mission South, military history is your category. The bomb Fat Man dropped on Nagasaki used plutonium as its fuel, but Little Boy dropped on Hiroshima used what other element? Paul?
Uranium.
Uranium is correct. West, literature is your category. The oldest Spanish writings still in existence include the play of the Wise Men and the poem of which medieval hero? Walker?
El Cid.
El Cid is correct. Raiders, fine arts is your category. Who painted Antwerp Cathedral's Descent from the Cross? West, chance to steal this fine arts category. Who painted Antwerp Cathedral's Descent from the Cross? Peter?
Rembrandt.
That is incorrect. It is Peter Paul Rubens. Peter Paul Rubens. West, you do get the next category, U.S. geography. What national park is located in the U.S. Virgin Islands? Shawnee Mission South, your chance to steal this U.S. geography category. What national park is located in the U.S. Virgin Islands? Time on that one. The actual answer is Virgin Islands National Park. Sometimes the obvious answer is the right one. Shawnee Mission South, you do get the next category, which is science medicine. What kind of shot is administered in 14 to 21 daily injections, followed by boosters 10 to 20 days later? Nikki?
Babies.
Rabies is correct. Blue Valley West, economics, government is your category. It's a fairly long question, so please pay attention. U.S. law allows energy trading companies to record as revenue the total amount of their transactions rather than the profits from such trading. That is how what company with normal revenues of $6.3 billion in 2001 officially recorded revenues of $101 billion before going bust?
Enron.
Danny, it is Enron. That is correct. Shawnee Mission South, current events is your category. Name the Asian nation that most recently was hit nearly simultaneously by volcano eruption and a tsunami. Nikki?
Myanmar.
Cannot accept that. Blue Valley West, chance to steal this current events category. Give the name of the Asian nation that recently was hit nearly simultaneously by volcano eruption and a tsunami. Whit?
Indonesia.
Indonesia is correct. And with that correct response, you have tied the score at 9-9. Blue Valley West, you do get the next category, which is music vocabulary. What Italian musical term indicates gradual increase in the volume of sound? Walker?
Crescendo.
Crescendo is correct. Raiders, vocabulary is the next category. Give me the word, and it's just give me the word, excuse me. Give me the word. The casual mention or indirect reference to a literary or historical figure in a work. Paul?
Illusion.
Illusion is correct. Jaguars, next category for you is military history, quotes. Who said, compared to war, all other forms of human endeavor shrink to insignificance? God, how I love it. He also wrote in a letter to his wife, peace is going to be hell on me. Walker?
Is that Patton?
It is Patton. That is correct. General knowledge for you, Raiders. What kind of soup was the first Campbell's canned condensed soup? Josh W.?
Tomato.
Tomato is correct. Blue Valley West. Literature is your category. A surprise bestseller since 1987, its 1987 publication, and one of which argues for the, excuse me, let me start over. A surprise bestseller since its 1987 publication, and one which argues for the kind of academic competition that has brought us here today, is subtitled How Higher Education Has Failed Democracy and Impoverished the Souls of Today's Students. Finish the title of this work by Alan Bloom, which begins, The Closing of the... Danny?
Mind.
Cannot accept mind. South, chance to steal this literature category. It is a long question. The surprise bestseller since its 1987 publication, and one which argues for the kind of academic competition that has brought us here today. It is subtitled How Higher Education Has Failed Democracy and Impoverished the Souls of Today's Students. Finish the title of this work by Alan Bloom, which begins, The Closing of the... Nikki?
Book.
That is also incorrect. We're looking for American Mind. American Mind. Part of the title, sorry. All right, as we come to the conclusion of our first round, we are deadlocked at 11 apiece for both teams, obviously. And at this part of our program, we go to a student for each team who will bring us a campus update, giving us the ins and outs and the comings and goings of what's happening at their high school campus. First, we have Danny from Blue Valley West. What is happening with the Jaguars?
Well, at Blue Valley West, we have a repertory production that is upcoming. I do not know the name of it, but we do have a repertory production. The band has had a very successful season, but they have since disbanded after a couple of first place finishes. And our soccer team is in a state quarterfinal game tomorrow night against Shawnee Mission Northwest at home. So we're looking forward to that.
Fantastic. So a lot of things happening at Blue Valley West. Shawnee Mission South, what is happening with the Raiders? And I believe, Nikki, you are going to be giving us that update.
All right. Well, over here at South, our Rompin' Stompin' Raider band just was, they were finalists at Warrensburg. And our cross-country team placed second in state, which was a pretty big deal. And we are doing some other good things. Right. Our choir is putting on the evening of cabaret. You should come. It'll be nice.
All right, fantastic. And I'm particularly impressed with how the schools in Johnson County not only excel in academics, but athletics and performing arts. It's very, very impressive. All right, as we get ready for our second round, it is the lightning round in which both teams will be responsible for answering the question. The question will be placed on the floor. If one team does respond incorrectly, the other team will get a chance to steal. So both teams, here we go. The category is mythology. Match these Greek gods to the areas they ruled. And here are the list of 4 gods: Ares, Eros, Eos, and Aeolus. And the provinces they governed are war, love, wind, and dawn. Oh, Nikki?
Oh. All right, that would be Ares and war, Eos and dawn, Aeolus and wind, and Eros and love.
That is correct. You matched all 4.
Good deal.
U.S. geography for both teams. The answer to the following contains the prefix out. It's referring to a chain of long, narrow, sandy islands along the coast of Walker.
The U.S. outlying islands.
Cannot accept that. Shawnee South, chance to steal this U.S. geography category. The prefix, or the answer to the following contains the prefix out. It's a chain of long, narrow, sandy islands along the coast of North Carolina. Josh W.
The Outer Banks.
Outer Banks is what we were looking for. Both teams, the category is sports. Before 1999, how many points did it take to win a game of volleyball? Danny.
21.
That is incorrect. Raiders, chance to steal the sports category. Before 1999, how many points did it take to win a game of volleyball? Josh W.
25.
That is incorrect. Back in 99, it was 15. Both teams, both teams, the category is history, Middle Ages. The Middle Ages were characterized by an interest in theology or man's relationship with God. After the 13th century, philosophers began to focus their attention on man. What is this movement called? Peter?
Humanism.
Humanism is exactly right. U.S. government is the category for both teams. In addition to its 12 appellate courts, the federal judicial system includes 95 of what other kind of court? Danny.
Courts.
Cannot accept circuit courts. Shawnee Mission South, chance to steal this U.S. government category. In addition to its 12 appellate courts, the federal judicial system includes 95 of what other kind of court? Josh P.
District court.
District courts is correct. Literature, poetry is the category for both teams. Elizabeth Barrett's sonnets were begun when she first met Robert Browning, and they chronicle her reactions to their developing friendship and love. What were these poems called? Time on that one, and the answer would be sonnets from the Portuguese. Okay, we have a math question, and it's a fairly long calculation, so please make sure you pay attention. The cost of a college education is stunning when you look at the cost alone, but financial aid can ease the shock of the high figures. Okay, here we go. What would your cost be if tuition was $6,000, room and board is $3,000, but you receive a government grant for $1,000, a college grant of $500, a work study up to $1,500, and a loan of $2,000? Paul.
$4,000.
$4,000, that is correct. Vocabulary is the next category for both teams. Define replete. Paul?
Replete is filled or has an abundance of.
Abundance is one of the key words we were looking for. We're also looking for well provided or completely full. Excellent. Music terminology is the next category for both teams. What term is given to an artificially high singing voice above the ring? Cannot accept that, Whit. I am sorry. Josh W.
Falsetto.
Falsetto is correct. Both teams, science is the next category, energy specifically. Energy produced in a reactor using fissionable or fusionable fuels is most properly called what sort of energy? Paul?
Nuclear energy.
Nuclear energy is correct. Another math question for both teams, geometry specifically. All three exterior angles of a triangle are, and you have a choice here, all three exterior angles of a triangle are always, sometimes, or never acute. Tyler?
Never acute.
Never acute is correct. World history for both teams. What English king introduced trial by jury? Whit?
King John I.
Cannot accept that. Raiders, world history, and you have a chance to steal this category. What English king introduced trial by jury? We're looking for Henry II. Henry II. U.S. history for both teams. What happened to the Empire State Building in 1945? Justin?
A bomber flew into it.
That is correct. Literature is the next category for both teams. Which work by which French author opens with the line, "In the castle of Baron Thunder"? Danny?
Candide by Voltaire.
That is exactly right. You saved me from reading the rest of the quote. Appreciate it. World geography for both teams, landmarks specifically. It's a longer question, so please pay attention. In 1814, Emperor Napoleon I gave up the throne of France at the chateau that had been the summer home of French royalty since the 16th century. Walker?
Versailles.
Cannot accept Versailles. Shawnee, Mr. South, chance to steal this world geography landmark category. In 1814, Emperor Napoleon I gave up the throne of France at this chateau that had been the summer home of French royalty since the 16th century. This magnificent Renaissance structure displays a number of architectural and decorative styles, as each monarch remodeled it to fit the style of his day. Can you name it? Time on that, we're looking for Fontainebleau. Fontainebleau. Vocabulary, parts of speech is the category. It is a word that is used in an exclamatory or parenthetical way.
Interjection.
It is an interjection, Whit. That is correct. And with that correct answer, you have narrowed the lead to 4 as you have a score of 15, Shawnee Mission South 19. Literature, authors is the next category. The only contemporary account of his death was penned by Reverend John Ward, who wrote that he, Drayton, and Ben Jonson had a merry meeting, and it seems that they drank too hard. For he, and this is in quotes, he died of a fever he then contracted. To whose death does this refer? Danny?
Edgar Allan Poe.
That is incorrect. Raiders, chance to steal this literature authors category. The only contemporary account of his death was penned by the Reverend John Ward, who wrote that he, Drayton, and Ben Jonson had a merry meeting, and it seemed they had drank too hard, for he had died of a fever that he then contracted. To whose death does this refer? It refers to Shakespeare's death, Shakespeare. Science, medicine is the next category for both teams. For a heart, liver, or kidney transplant to be considered successful, the patient must survive how long? 24 hours, 7 days, 60 days, or 1 year? Peter?
60 days.
That is incorrect. South, chance to steal the science medicine category. Paul?
7 days.
That too is incorrect. We're looking for 1 year. 1 year. Music and poetry terminology is the next category. A group of lines of verse, usually set off from other groups by a space, is called what? Walker?
A stanza.
A stanza is correct. General knowledge for both teams. What is the correct name for the statistic which results from summing the scores made on a test and dividing the total? Walker?
Mean.
Mean is correct. Another math question for both teams. What is the measure of each individual exterior angle of a regular hexagon? Paul?
60 degrees.
60 degrees is correct. Literature is the next category. Name any of the 6 historical novels by Gore Vidal. Burr, 1876, Empire, Hollywood, Lincoln, and Washington, D.C. were the 6. Government for both teams. In the New World, Belize was once a colony. Name the colonial power which still provides military and naval forces. Walker?
Spain.
That is incorrect. South, chance to steal this government category. Nikki?
France.
That too is incorrect. Great Britain. Great Britain. World geography, landmarks for the next category and for both teams. The first great period of Egyptian civilization, called the Old Kingdom, was heralded by the first use of stone for an entire building. King Zoser commissioned the pyramid near Memphis, which is the oldest stone monument in the world. What is this pyramid called? Danny?
The Step Pyramid.
The Step Pyramid is correct. European history for both teams. Which European ruler added Bavaria to his empire in 788? Whit?
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne is correct. And you have narrowed the score to be 19-20. U.S. history is the next category for both teams. The Mayflower Compact was signed in November of 1620 at what cape? Danny?
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod is correct, and you have tied up the score at 20 apiece. Fine arts, painters is the next category. In the 19th century, an English romantic painter depicted seascapes and shipwrecks, always with a sense of steam and mist. Name that painter, also known for paintings with so-called tinted sea. Time on that, we're looking for Turner. Turner. General knowledge for both teams, when climbing in mountain biking, you should select a gear that allows you to keep what between 60 and 90? Josh W.
Rotations per minute.
Rotations or revolutions per minute is correct. Vocabulary for both teams. Using the prefix auto, A-U-T-O, tell me the name of the oven-like device used to sterilize medical instruments. Tyler?
Autoclave.
Autoclave is correct, and you have tied up the score again. Fine arts, film is the next category. In 2001, Christopher Plummer and Julie Andrews starred in a TV remake of the 1981 film On Golden Pond. In what well-known motion picture did both these two last appear together? Danny?
The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music is correct, and with that buzzer, that was the end of the game. And last question, Blue Valley West, you have won the game with a score of 22, Shawnee Mission South 21. Another fantastically well-played game right here on Categories. Make sure that you join us each week here as we bring you the best and brightest minds of the Johnson County High School students. Wow, that was a good game.